Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Welcome to another festive episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your amusement. Okay, so I got a good one today, you guys. We are going to talk about Gremlins. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, there we go. You can see it. Alright, so here's my little, 3-movie package here. But we're going to talk about this one right here, Gremlins. And then maybe one day we'll talk about Gremlins 2, the new batch. Yes, Gremlins from 1984. One of my favorite movies to watch around Christmas time. I do remember when it came out, I think it was it late 80s? But it came on TV, and I recorded it. And I remember, I was so scared at first. Because I was like, oh my god, what is happening? The first act of this movie is whatever. And then keeps going along and turns up to a straight horror movie with killings in the kitchen, which we'll talk about. And then after that, once we get to the horde of gremlins running around, then it just turns into a straight horror comedy. Before I even knew what a horror comedy was. Alright, so let's talk about Gremlins. There's actually a lot of people in this movie. You got Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, Judge Reinhold, Corey Feldman, Glenn Turman, and Howie Mandel is the voice of Gizmo. Who knew? Okay, y'all, I got my green drink. It seemed fitting for this review about little green things. Okay, so look, let's talk about this. So, this movie starts off with Hoyt Axton playing Rando Peltzer. He's this inventor who invents crap and nothing works. So he's walking around Chinatown claiming that he's trying to find a gift for his kid. Ends up in this underground store where this little boy took him into that his grandfather owned. And he finds this Mogwai singing in the corner, and then he's all oh man, I've been really searching for one of these for my kid. I really want to get him something like this. What? It's really weird because when you look at Billy, played by Zach Galligan, I mean his room was in the attic. Okay, you look around, nothing stands out that he has exotic pets, exotic things. Just I never understood that part. Why he said that. So anyway, he gets this thing, takes it home, opens it up, and presents the present. So before he leaves this store, the kid tells him, okay, you gotta remember 3 rules, right? No bright lights, don't get it wet, and don't feed after midnight. And he's like, sure kid, whatever you say. Okay. How come he didn't turn around and be like, why? What happens if I do? But then I guess we wouldn't have a movie if he did that. But I still feel like that should have happened, and that he just maybe didn't tell his kid when he presented the gift. I don't know. But look, they're about to kill this thing within 5 minutes because the mom was taking pictures with a bright light flash. Then he goes, oh yeah, that's right, there's rules. Gizmo hasn't been in the house for 10 minutes. They're already trying to kill him. Yeah, so I guess the next day, Corey Feldman's character comes over. He's visiting, and he accidentally spilled water on Gizmo. And Gizmo pops out 5 new Mogwai from his bag. No one is still alarmed, is this thing an alien? What the fuck is this? And now it just, because of water, it just multiplied and ate, more things. And then the father's all ooh, the Peltzer pet. I bet everyone in America would want one of these. The hell is wrong with this family? You can't follow these rules, and now you want to give these things away to people? Hilarious. So, and then what I don't understand is, Billy takes one of the Mogwai to school, and we get to Glenn Turman's character. He's this science teacher, I guess. And he goes do some tests and study it, and oh, by the way, and then he takes some water drips it onto the Mogwai, and another one pops off. Like, stop getting this thing wet. Like, I don't understand why is Billy so hard-headed. He's just like, oh yeah, check this out. Boop. Okay. So that's how they multiply, but stop fucking doing it. Alright, so this Mogwai, like, Stripe seems to be the leader. He's the one that has a stripe going down his head. And I guess he like cut the clock wire at 11:35. So now Billy thinks it's not midnight yet. I'm going to give these fools some chicken. So they eat, and the next morning they're all cocooning all over the place. Even the one at the school, because the teacher who's still working in school, like at 2 in the morning, like is he like the town scientist? I don't understand. Did the janitor lock the school up? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, he leaves a sandwich out. This one eats it, and yeah. So, I'm guessing, like, they just can't eat after midnight until dawn. Like, once dawn hits, then, like, they can have, like, pancakes and stuff, I guess. I guess. They don't say. So, alright. So, look, y'all. These things hatch, and now we have the Gremlins. Okay? Now, I think from this point on, all logic and rules and script writing just goes out the window, because there's so much shit that does not make any sense in this movie, but you just have to, like, go along with it. Like, there's the one in the school, he kills the teacher, goes through an event, and then somehow ends up in the medicine cabinet in the nurse's station. Like, how did the vent go? I don't know. So then we got the ones in the house, and the mom is there, and now she has to, like, kill them or be killed, which is kind of funny. I love how, like, wives and moms are just always at home, and, like, the killer is always there when the wife is at home, or they're the ones getting haunted by the ghost because there's no one else around. So of course the mom is like, oh no. Protects her kitchen by killing one in the mixer. She kills one on the counter, and then she kills the one in the microwave. Now, do you ever notice this head on the other side of the microwave, y'all? Like, that used to just kind of freak me out as a kid. Like, whose head is this? But then after a while, I kind of got it, because I will say one thing about this movie. Like, it has held up when it comes to the special effects, and they're using practical effects. Like, there's no CGI or anything. Well, later on there is. But when they're there, like, up close, the facial expressions and just everything, like, it is really good how they did the motorized features of the Gremlins and the Mogwai in this. So then it kind of dawned on me, like, oh, it was probably like a puppeteer back there, but no one saw his head on the microwave. So anyway, the fourth one gets killed by with Billy, like, flinging it into the fire when it attacked the mom from the Christmas tree. And then you got Stripe, who runs away through the window into the snow that's wet. How's this thing running around in the snow? But whatever. Again, don't think about all that. Okay, so Billy chases this thing down to the YMCA. The YMCA. It ends up in the swimming pool, and then that's where shit hits the fan. Well, shit hits the fan later, but yes. So now that Stripe is in the water, he's double boiling trouble in the swimming pool, and that just creates like hundreds of new Gremlins. So now the town is just screwed. So then we got like three of like the funniest things ever. Like, the first one is when they're fucking with the Futtermans. Like, first of all, they mess up this man's like TV antenna, which I would be so pissed. But then they get into a tractor and like run him down. I think the Futtermans were supposed to die originally, but I don't know if like a test audience didn't like it or something. Like, something changed the director's mind. and they made them live. Because then later you get a phone call at the sheriff's department, and he was like, the Futtermans, oh, there was an accident with the tractor. So that happens. And then you have Mrs. Deagle. Now let's talk about Mrs. Deagle, because her whole like character just doesn't make any sense. So at the very, very beginning of this movie, this lady is like walking with a snowman, right? And she goes to the bank and she tells Billy, like, this is what your dog did, and this is what's left of my snowman. But when did the dog do that exactly? Because anytime you see the dog at home, he's inside the house. So I don't understand, like, when exactly did he get out to mess up this lady's snowman? It's not like in the beginning of the movie, like, when Billy's trying to start his car, you know, the dog runs up and he goes, oh, hey, you know, where have you been all night? You know, what were you doing? 'Cause, you know, it's wintertime, it's snowing, like, why is the dog outside? So that doesn't make any sense. I feel like there was something else cut there. But now you got these gremlins dressed up in like scarves and hats, and they're outside caroling and singing the gremlin song. And this lady, so and one gets into the house and messes with her electric chair that goes up the stairs, and it sparks and sends her flying. And so now you're like, oh my god, she's a rich lady. She's in this big mansion, but no, it's like a two-story house. But the way they make it going around the stairs, it looks like she just went up like five stories. And then she flies out the window, which is hilarious. So, and then we have all the gremlins. Well, not all, but a big majority of them in the bar where Kate's working. And Kate's kind of like stuck behind the counter, which I don't understand how this whole thing happened. But these things are like drinking, they're smoking, they're gambling. One's a flasher. One is doing like Jane Fonda aerobics, breakdancing. Oh my god. Oh my god, like it's so funny. But again, like all the logic and rules go out the window because they're drinking beer, so they never show like one drinking beer and then falls over and then boop 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 more gremlins. Like if they did, I would be like, okay, got it. That doesn't happen. And then a lot of them are smoking with lit cigarettes, and then Kate goes to light one cigarette and he gets scared of the light and falls off the counter. So she's like, oh, they don't like bright lights. Well, bitch, turn the lights on. They're probably already on because, you know, bars are already dark. So, but how did the other ones get their cigarettes lit? Like, I don't understand. Ay. So anyway, Billy helps her out, and they go to the bank, and which has already been destroyed by the gremlins, and then we get the saddest story ever probably told on film of why Kate hates Christmas. I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Go watch the movie, y'all. Do yourself a favor. But yes, we get Kate's story and just, I need a drink just thinking about it. Later on, all the gremlins are in the movie theater, and they're watching Snow White, and they like love it. So Billy and Kate end up cause a gas leak, blowing up the theater, kills all the gremlins. Right? Wrong, because there's still one gremlin out there running crazy, and it is Stripe. So what happens is Stripe wanted some candy, but all the candy's gone from the concession stand. So he notices there's a department store across the street, and he ends up going there in the snow. So luckily they see him in the window. They're like, God damn it. So now they have to go across the street and kill Stripe. You got all this craziness with like chainsaws and TVs that don't make sense. Why one turns on and the other turns on. Just, again, don't question it. Just watch it. Gizmo's driving a car that seems to... I don't know how he's driving this car. But anyway, Stripe finds a fountain, sticks his finger in it, and he's planning on starting this whole process all over again. But because of Gizmo in his car. Gizmo ends up saving the day by crashing and jumping on a curtain rod that opens up a skylight. Because now it's the morning time, the sun's coming up and everything. Which the sun's not like that bright yet. But anyway, the sun is bright enough to kill the gremlin. So it hits right onto Stripe, and he. That's going to be part of the blooper reel. Okay, so let me wrap this up before I make another mess. What'd I say? Look, let me tell you why this family sucks even more. Because at the end of the movie, well, actually so when Stripe dies, the father shows up, right? He's like coming home. It's just so funny how this man brings this thing home, leaves, all this shit's going down in the town, like people are dead, and then he just comes in going, what happened? What's that? That is what you cause. You couldn't just go buy your son a card or anything like that. No, you had to bring him a mogwai, right? So anyway, they get home, and then the wife is all like, ooh, I bet he likes some chicken soup. No, bitch! Like, there's water in the chicken soup. There's a broth. And now he's going to eat it and drink it, and he's going to multiply, and this whole shit's going to start all over again. Like, what is wrong with this family? So, thank goodness the old man, like, don't know how he found their address, but he shows up and takes the dang mogwai back home with him. He's like, y'all are not ready for this, okay? Oh, man. You know another thing about this movie that always drives me crazy? And I used to think I used to just look away from the screen and missed it. Like, there's a scene where Billy finds his dog, like, wrapped up in Christmas lights outside. And he's all like, oh, Mrs. Deagle must have did it, right? But apparently the Mogwai did it. But I think there was a scene where they actually filmed the Mogwai doing it. I don't know why they cut it. Like, I don't know if it didn't look right or anything, but like, how the hell did they get the dog up on the porch? Tied up in the Christmas lights? Like, I never understood that. And if you're going to take the main part of that scene out, why don't you just take it out altogether? I don't know. That always bothered me. Like, does anyone know? But apparently it was the Mogwai who did it. But like, how the hell did they do that? That means they had to leave the house. Did they stack on top of each other? Anyway, you guys, so that was Gremlins. Still one of my favorite. Like, I still watch it. I still love it. I just don't ask questions. Just shut up and watch it. Do you like Gremlins? Was there anything else in that movie where you're like, what the hell? Let me know in the comments below. And, but you know what I will say? Like, so, maybe I'll talk about the new batch in the next year coming up. But, if you have Max, they actually released a prequel story about Gremlins. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Gremlins: The Secret of the Mogwai, and it tells the story of the old man in Gremlins when he was a child. So the little boy in the prequel is the old man that takes Gizmo back. I thought it was actually pretty good. It's an animated show, and it talks about where the Mogwai come from, how they discovered these 3 rules. There's a really creepy scene with these like lifeless demon things. It's like so creepy, but it's a really good show. So if you do have Max, go ahead and check it out. I do actually recommend it. But in the meantime, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next festive episode. So until then, TTFN.